Welcome back, everybody, to another super episode of Ask Ryan. It's a public sector forum where people write into us from all over the country to ask questions about public sector as it relates to Dynamics and Microsoft technology. And we have with us, of course, Ryan Dorheim and myself. I'm the host here at Ask Ryan. Look, this is part of the formality of doing one of these. Here's our pictures. Here's our bios. But I'll give Ryan a second to introduce himself again, and then we'll get going with again an exciting episode today of Ask Ryan.
Yeah, I was just looking at the prior slide. We're doing a 10 and 10, right? So I was thinking,
That's
I,
right.
I, I honestly thought this was a 10, 10, and 10. In other words, 10 questions, 10 answers, hopefully, and in all in 10 minutes. So this might go a little bit quick, but yes, I am Ryan Dorheim, technology specialist at Microsoft. I focus primarily in our state and local government arena for all of our U.S. Customers in the SMC space. I am a former police officer, and so you can kind of see where Shadow IT got me, and that is doing conversations such as this, as it's a huge passion of mine to help advance the technology transformation with our state and local governments.
Yeah, and as the host, I love working with community. I've been doing this in lots of different ways as an end user and as a support person in the channel now, and love working with the public sector folks. So happy to do this. Like Ryan said, 10 topics, 10 answers from the viewers, all about Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the products around that in 10 minutes. So here we go. This
All
didn't
right.
count as the 10 minutes. This didn't count as part of the 10 minutes, by the way. This
I
is
was
just
already sidetracked
this.
that you're the host of the world acclaimed Ask Ryan.
Yeah,
So
Russia, this
good
is just
job
the
on that
buffer.
one. I appreciate that.
Here we go. This is the first one coming to us, Ryan. Love this, coming from L. Nope in Pawnee, Indiana. Dear Ryan, my LI feed is filled with talking heads yammering about AI. The other day, I was singing Old MacDonald and I subconsciously sang AI, AIO. Can folks in government expect the ability to use generative AI? That's a great question.
Um, that is a very good question. My answer is absolutely. You
Yeah.
certainly can. In fact, it's already here today in the government community cloud. Right now, it's actually in the form of our low code applications and also some Dynamics customer service as well, where it is AI built in to help the actual agent or user. But there will be more forthcoming here shortly. So coming soon to M365 tenants is going to be the M365 Copilot.
Nice.
In fact, I was just on a webinar the other day where we were discussing what that's actually going to look like. So please stay tuned, and the information is out there. So look forward to that. But right now, for our low code stuff, right now we're in a phase one opt in approach, and phase two is coming soon, where it's natively baked into the government community cloud. So we can opt in now, especially if you're looking at dev testing and looking to see what's available, what you can create. And then also coming soon, it'll be more of that on-off switch type of thing, right? So for control, user control, and what you want in your tenant and all those other cool practices. But something I love saying, and that's why I put it here, is it's AI built for you. It's AI you can configure, and it's AI you can build. So
Yeah,
one
nice.
is built for you, and the other one you can build. So Microsoft brings all the flavors, regardless of your technology expertise.
Nice. AI is coming your way, Indiana. Building off of that, we've got Goldie Wilson writing in from Hill Valley. Dear Ryan, a coworker and I have a bet. The county we work for is in the Microsoft Government Community Cloud, and we know things are limited. Is Copilot Studio and bot building even in GCC? We're kicking the idea around for a self-help bot for our county employees, and there's a $20 bet on the line, so do me justice. Uh-oh,
Oh,
money on the
20.
line. What are we going to do with this one?
Oh, see, that adds the pressure that puts weight on my shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Do we get a cut of that money?
no, we're in
Ah,
government.
well,
Come on
it's
now.
okay. We'll let them keep it. They're small public
Eh,
sector. They need the
a-
money.
Right. Copilot Studio, before it was Copilot Studio, the ability to do bot building existed in the government community cloud. We called it Power Virtual Agents.
Okay.
But when generative AI came into a lot more of our conversations, tools, and features and things like that, it was renamed to Copilot Studio. So we still have that bot building experience where you have the ability to give it a certain amount of topics. It can generate answers based off of things that were, already predetermined, right? What I really love of what that writer put out there is looking for some self-help for employees.
Mm.
And I like that use case too. And so I would say that yes, Copilot Studio, using some of the generative AI, pointing generative AI to some of those internal documents, and having it read those documents and be able to provide answers back to your employees is a great use case. And that is available today. So very similar to my prior answer. Yes, generative AI is there. Right now it's an opt-in. And again, I just want to reiterate this, and hopefully maybe the last time you'll see it, maybe it won't be, but it's AI built for you, AI you can configure, and then AI you can build from the ground up, again, depending upon your technical level of expertise.
And that's where this is going. This is the exciting thing that people just out there with passion can start to build product, build apps, build all this stuff for your organizations and your communities. Which leads us to another great question. Dearest gurus, we have a lot of young kids and adults hungering for better ways to engage with our staff. We need to shake it up. Can Dynamics 365 handle citizen engagement? That's coming from Mayor McCheese in McDonald Land. Interesting.
Mayor McCheese.
Yeah. They want to they want to
Ba-da-ba.
they want to help with their citizen engagement.
I'm I'm well, first of all, I'm loving it. And the correct answer is yes. Relationship management, citizen engagement is really at the core of what Dynamics 365 is, and that's regardless of the module, or whether we're talking about our CS applications, which can also involve marketing journeys and those types of things, but also get into like citizen engagement or customer engagement directly, where we're talking about inquiry management, field service, and different modules throughout the Power Platform. We have omnichannel capabilities, so it's meeting your constituents or your citizens where they're at, whether it is via SMS message if they so elect, or if it's going to be via email message. There are different avenues that can be taken to provide the experience that we're hoping to achieve with our citizens. And I wrote this on here too because I know this is intended to be like a short, 10 and 10 and 10. So I'm just going to say Copilot bots and Power Pages. Oh my, literally, we're
I
we're
love it.
there. And then coming soon as well. So looking forward, contact center as a solution or contact center as a service is making its way towards the government community cloud as well. This would actually allow our governments, instead of ripping and replacing a CRM they may already be leveraging today, but they can bring their own CRM and now actually have a Dynamics look and feel for that type of engagement to help manage the person that's providing the citizen with the information through the right process or workflow that they need to go through, all while having that type of omnichannel experience. And also, voice and IVR also have plans coming into GCC as well. So, if you wanted to pick up a phone and call in, we could do some call deflection with having an IVR, a natural conversation with a generative AI bot. And then if we get to a point it needs to escalate to a live person, it can definitely be handed off to the appropriate resource inside of your local government there. So, I mean, lots of cool things coming down the pike, things that currently exist. So, that was actually a really good one, Mayor McCheese. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that to me was a very well-rounded, full technology happy meal. So I'm glad we were able to help out Mr.
With
McCheese out there
a
in
prize
McDonald
inside.
Land.
Yeah, always
Well, the
choose
next one we
Apple
have coming in
devices.
from Joe Quimby in Springfield, our Rye Guy and Bobby. I'm very security conscious and a private person, and I have nothing to fear but the aliens and their vastly superior killing technology. Is this whole AI safe for government customers? Hmm. Interesting, Joe. But I guess the point is this safe? Is this is this a safe for computing? It's a big concern.
I that's a thank you. Appreciate that. I can speak from the Microsoft perspective of all of this, right? Microsoft is governed by six main principles for responsible AI: fairness, reliability, safety and security, privacy, inclusiveness, transparency, accountability. If you haven't thought of those before, or if you're looking at like, is using generative AI or Copilot right for us in our organization, lift your phones right now, look at the screen. I put a QR code there for a specific reason because I'm not able to cover all of that. Um, Microsoft will not use customer data to train AI models. There are certain things and practices that we're not going to do because it's your data, it's our customers' data, and it needs to stay with our customers. And on top of that, we have, just like with Office 365, we think of the compliance requirements that our state and local
Yeah.
governments need to adhere to, right? Our Office 365, M365 Azure tenants meet compliance requirements. Our Copilot and generative AI meet those same things because it's all part of your tenant. So we are able to meet HIPAA compliance. We are able to, give you the tools and the controls necessary, where it is only a copilot ingesting the information that you allow it to ingest and provide the answers that you want for your citizens at the end of the day. So I can say from a Microsoft perspective, yes. The other AI stuff that's out there, I cannot speak to. So I would just caution and say, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
This resource that is behind this QR code can lead you down a multiple of different paths of even looking at internal policies and
Hmm.
what is Microsoft doing to govern a lot of these tools and features. So take your time to do the research. But is it safe? Yes.
That's good. And that resource is great. One of my favorite in the Microsoft channel is that website that shows all the different. If you're a nerd and you want to look at all the different compliance, it's just listed by numbers. If you know the compliance number you're looking for, you can find it, and it shows you, and they're all up there. It's a great bunch of resources around security and compliance. Let's see. We've got P.O. Daniel, governor of Mississippi. Dear Ryan, the great state of Mississippi is looking for an easier way to mass communicate, a way employees can explore internal policies, procedures, and perhaps even find benefits available to them. Furthermore, we have a newfangled intranet site, but it keeps us busier than a moth in a mitten. The employees end up calling the department heads of HR directly. Any thoughts on how we can improve the internal systems?
So we talked citizen engagement earlier, and this reminded me of that $20 bet that was mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
So there's like tons of things that already come to mind. Internal engagement, having employees who know rules, policies, procedures is so important. And so I would even take that a step further, saying using low code as a authenticated way to go in and maybe look at something very specific to, what level of employee are they within the municipality or county or whatever it is, and then what benefits packages they have. But even just looking up service orders, general orders, things that, even when I was in law enforcement, I had to adhere to, I had to manually go find and research. But here, using some form of, Copilot bot being fed this information, I can ask now questions against those documents,
Mm-hmm.
very specific. If it's like, what is the proper procedure for requesting time off? What do I need to go through to have FMLA leave for whatever reason in my life? Having a bot putting that in place would be a great way of interacting with your employees. So again, um, hopefully I'm helping someone else with that $20 bet on the line, but that also answers this as well.
Yeah, and again, points to if you've got a passionate group of people, the outcomes are endless. At the end of the day, you've got this tool, this low code tool to develop in, and then it's just your imagination that goes wild to say we could do this, we could do this kind of and you'll start to see these opportunities just bubble up everywhere once you know how to use the tool, once you know what's available. And Microsoft is doing a
Yeah.
good job at giving these opportunities out and giving folks space to really expand this organically, which is great.
And since it's internal, right? I mean, most of our customers are leveraging Teams, right? So not
Hmm.
only are we having, natural communication back and forth, like, oh, I can ping so and so in HR and ask this very question too, as well. But have any of our governments considered of just deploying a bot to Teams that would be something very specific to the department or wherever, if they needed to look up and resource something.
Yeah.
I was talking with a customer not all that long ago, and it was a law enforcement agency, and they were talking about their internal orders and procedures and stuff to go through, like, hey, what's needed for this particular crime? What's needed to go through if there was a major traffic accident, and then rather than someone opening up a paper manual or scrolling through a PDF, like, okay, we need to contact this person, we need to set up this, we need to have the crime scene detectives paged out. There could be a quick bot that a sergeant, whoever's in charge of the shift, could just ask the quick question, and then boom, there's the information. And then
Yeah.
could you build automation to now start putting those in place?
Yep.
Yeah, you certainly could. So those endless options and how Microsoft is designed to work together, to me, just brings a more cohesive approach using some of the technologies that you're already using and loving
Yeah.
today.
Opens up a world of possibilities from the largest to the smallest municipality and city. All right. Coming in from Baltimore, Maryland, Thomas Carcetti writes, Ryan, I run a tight city, but what we need is better access to data. What can we look forward to when it comes to reporting, dashboard, and analytics?
Look forward to it. So like in the commercial cloud right now, if it, again, a lot of our government customers seem to be on a mix. Some are in the commercial, some are GCC.
Yeah.
A majority of everyone I talk to seems to be in the government community cloud. So to touch on reporting right now, there's a lot of analytics built right into the Copilot Studio
Mm-hmm.
user interface, right? So you'd be able to see documentation or information metrics on how your bot is doing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what's coming to GCC is actually going to be very parallel to that and have that same type of reporting look and feel. Right now, as hey, this is all still really new to GCC. We have customers leveraging Power BI at this point to monitor specific parts of what the bots are doing and things like that. So the reporting and analytics is something that we're seeing a huge growth area in, and we'll be seeing more feature functionality in GCC Copilot Studio for this. But also as we get more of Copilot capabilities natively inside of your Office 365, M365, the reporting will continue to improve as far as like how your users are interacting with it as well. So the telemetry that it can be generated out of this and better access to of like how can we best help our users at the end of the day, you'll have that data and that knowledge. So I'm seeing all the positive things coming out of our commercial practice and them entering into the GCC practice. So um, stay tuned and keep looking forward to that.
I mean, it sounds like there's a ton of stuff already out there, but a lot of stuff coming kind of quickly, and that's exciting. I'm excited for everybody out there to be able to use these tools. I've been using them. I mean, it's exciting stuff.
Yep.
Gentlemen, our county jail is looking for a solution around managing inmates, which can tie back to a judicial system. I tried using my Bat Auto solution creator, but it turns out it was only a toilet paper tube, spray painted yellow, and used as a prop. Okay. Does Microsoft have a solution that could help? That's from A West in Quahog, Massachusetts. Interesting. We got some interesting viewers. I didn't realize, everybody that we got it's a huge bunch of people, watching us and with us every week. I didn't realize some of the folks that were.
Yes, I was actually conversing with a partner the other week who built out using the Power Platform, a little bit of Dynamics and Azure SQL, has an entire offender management solution. So not only
Wow.
can it tie back to a judicial systems, in other words, looking at case and sentencing guidelines and things set forth like that. It's ingesting that information in, but it gives a nice view then for it could be jail staff. It could even be for parole and probations. Now that I, think about it,
Yeah.
is they can look at to see from an offender management, standpoint where they're at in their journey within the judicial system, right? And that got me thinking a little bit more that Microsoft has an entire approach to public safety and justice. And we're seeing a lot more use cases of Dynamics 365 customer service or case management being leveraged not only in some of the investigatory process, but also in some of the judicial process throughout the US as well. It's not replacing other items that perhaps judges might be using, but as law enforcement and other PS&J communities look for technologies that are built on a Microsoft platform that have more integration, abilities, we're seeing a lot further movement. In fact, a couple of my colleagues created, just using some low code tools, Power
Yeah.
Platform, a little bit of Dynamics in the background. They created Chase, which is child health and ooh, oh, child health and it's an assistant. Oh, crud. But
Safety.
I
I'm
so
make I'm
I
going for
put it
something that
right
that's where it
there.
makes sense.
I put it there, and same thing with Iris as well. And really, what these are is these are assistants to help out caseworkers or to help out law enforcement
Hmm.
go through data, right? You think of some of the old school ways of you would open up a case file and you'd have to read everything manual and you would start
Hmm.
developing conclusions off of that. And you want to try to remove biases, right?
Yeah.
So having AI look through, and do statement comparisons or even, surface up information that would be important for a social worker to go out to someone's home if they're doing a follow up. These two tools can be of good help. So please, again, raise your phone, look at these couple of QR codes. I mean, these aren't like solutions you can go buy, but they're built on the Microsoft technology, and these particular sites actually show you what was used to build and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. So that way you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I just need a little bit of low code and some of the bot framework in the background, and we can embed this into our current case management solution.
As evil genius Gru said, it's like light bulb. These are just light bulbs. These are things that give you
Light
ideas.
bulb.
Light
Love
bulb.
it.
Yeah.
Light bulb.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, this again, another just a, and I was thinking about it as you're talking about this too, and I've seen a case study from Microsoft, which was talked very specifically about social workers and the onboarding process. Like, hey, Ryan's been working this case for a year. He's got all these notes. He's done all this stuff. And then Ryan moves on and Bobby comes in. And now I've got to get up to speed and get to work on this case quickly because they can't sit for a month while I read through and try to digest all the information on all the cases I'm taking over. And guess what? AI is there to help you get a quick picture of this and get up to speed and get helping these folks quicker. Just a great use of technology. I mean, so many positive ways to look at this. Let's see what we've got here. Keeping on track. Augustus Mayhew, mayor of Whoville, writes, Dear Ryan, we're a small community, often barely heard, one might say. What resources are out there that maybe we haven't heard before?
We're gonna have a conversation with our watchers. Loaded question, and now I'm the one saying, "Oh my."
Yep.
But yes, we're SLG. I get it. Uh, Look, if there were places that I could help guide you, and I know there's 5 QR codes sitting on here, and that is literally intentional, right? So we have a location where you can go and share ideas. In fact, I even wrote vote on there right now because we're getting towards election season. And as you think of the features, functionalities that we're seeing in the government community cloud, and with the dynamic solution that we have, the best voice, like I can be a voice internally as well, but it's our customers that move the needle at Microsoft, really, at
Yeah.
the end of the day. And our product teams, have channels such as this where they're really interested in what our consumers of our solutions and technology are looking for. So for Dynamics, please use that one. In fact, it covers all of Dynamics. Other places to look: service descriptions. Like if I ever wondered like some of the parity differences in different products, I would go to the service description.
Hmm.
Ironically, that link there under D365 service description will bring you right to Microsoft Learn, and both the Power Platform and the Dynamics one are side by side. So you can get access to government URLs, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Helpful to know. Microsoft events are huge. Uh, there is actually a site where you can filter down based off of not only language but also product specific things.
Yeah.
GitHub, there's 2 resources that I personally follow. One is from our enterprise SLG folks. So there's a GitHub for US SLG enterprise. But even if you're not an enterprise, please consume the information out of that those GitHubs. And same thing with our Fed Civ folks. The reason why I put them on there is because majority of them are also on the government community cloud GCC tenants, so everything
Yeah.
still applies. And these 2 Gits are really they're caught up. There's demos, there's white papers, there's lots of information there that folks can access.
And that idea site is one I push all the time. I've heard from at this point countless people at Microsoft that assure me it's they look at this. They look at every idea that comes through that's uplifted, that's put out there. Obviously, not every idea can be put in place, but
Yep.
when something keeps bubbling up, keeps showing up as a thought, as an idea, if you put an idea up there and people go and vote and they say, "Wow, I didn't even think of that." Yeah, and so yeah, this stuff gets noticed and does get adopted many times into the system. And that's again, this is we're the ones using it. You're using it.
Yep.
This is where the best development sometimes comes from. And that's where not only here, there's another group we didn't have on here, but if you can get connected into the Yammer groups, a lot of
Oh,
times
yep.
these individual development teams will want your feedback in the moment. I've sat in ones where it's like, hey, we're getting ready to develop this thing. What do you think about this direction or this direction or this direction? And
Yeah.
they want to hear from people who are using it that say no, yes, yes. And so then they know what they kind of know which way to kind of lean towards, or at least have some input, right?
Yeah. I see that triggered you as well.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, man.
I would say
These
vote it up.
questions are
Vote up the
great. They're
good
taking you.
stuff.
Yep. Let's see what we got here. Question 9. We're doing really well. We're doing 10 and 10 and 20, I think. I think we're doing 10
Is
questions,
that
10
what we're
answers
trying
in
to
20
do now?
minutes.
Yeah,
But we're doing
we're not
good.
good
We're doing
stuff.
real good.
My
Um,
goodness.
let's see. Coming to us from Jed Bartlett, the governor of New Hampshire. Ryan and Bobby, here in the great state of New Hampshire, the Granite State, the first state to declare its independence in 1775, home of the most summited mountain in these great United States. Tell me, please, what is coming to O365 M350 365 stack that will be relevant to the U.S. and local state government entities?
Oh
That
my
was a
goodness.
mouthful.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is. And I think it's twofold, right? So it's also like, hey, what else do you have? I would say let's have that conversation, reach out to your Microsoft rep or your partner rep and start having that conversation because I think it's not only is what do I have and I'm already licensed for, what can I start taking advantage of
yeah,
that maybe could help save me money. Maybe I'm investing in a different product somewhere else, but yet I'm already getting that through Microsoft. It's just going unused, right?
yep,
And the other part is like, hey, what's coming through the Microsoft stack is like we have a lot of that Copilot Studio coming into the M365. So if you were going to be using Word or PowerPoint and you want a Copilot help to build that out, or Copilot, helping to summarize your emails, or a Copilot to, help you draft an email. It's all about empowering folks really at the end of the day, right? So the two low hanging fruit that I look at is, hey, they're out there. In fact, you can be leveraging Teams today as an emergency operations center. I was
mm,
actually, and I think I have, yep, the QR code sitting right there on the screen. Please look at that one for EOC for emergency operations. Have you considered using Teams? I was talking with a law enforcement agency, not because I was a former cop, maybe because I was, but like, are you using Teams for your shift briefings? Are you using it to, further enhance that collaboration?
yeah,
And same thing is true with like, I mean, one of the unsung heroes, bookings. Oh my goodness, you leverage some bookings. People are like, well, we're still going through our calendars, and we know in Outlook we can vote on meeting time together. But I think of it now. If I was a detective in today's age, if you wanted to book time with me based off of my availability, let's leverage some bookings. Send,
yeah,
the person to the site. Maybe put it right on my business card or my digital business card.
yep. Right in my
So
calendar link.
there are definite things in the Office 365 M365 stack that you could be leveraging today. That definitely come have a conversation.
And look what showed back up. AI built for you, AI you can configure, and AI you can build. We knew it was going to pop back up at some point.
Yep, built for you, configure, or that you can build.
I
I
love it.
like that. I love it.
And we've got time for one more. Rufus T. Firefly from, I've never heard of this place, Fredonia. Gentlemen, I may talk like a knucklehead, look like a knucklehead, but don't let that fool you. I am a knucklehead. What is the Microsoft industry approach when it comes to all things government?
That is a very, very, very broad and big question. I can say it's a global mission, right? So we have resources, and I think these are some unsung resources as
Mm-hmm.
well. But there's an entire organization called Worldwide Public Sector. So if you're part or watching this in a different country that's not the U.S., Microsoft has your back, and if you want to look for podcasts, if you want to look for content and what other governments are doing and what's available to you, skilling events and things like that, that are more of a broad, higher, like a more of a pulled out scope, so we can see at a bigger scale from a
Yeah.
worldwide perspective. Um, Visit that site,
It's a
Worldwide
true
Public
rabbit hole
Sector.
site. That's one.
It,
If you
I
get on
love it
there,
too.
you're gonna be you could be on there for days. Just get yourself some snacks, some
It,
beverages, and be prepared to stick with this site for a long time for sure.
industry experts as well. Microsoft does have an industry like site. So we have Worldwide Public Sector, which is kind of a bit more of a niche, but now we just want to look at government as the overall industry as well. And these sites actually, coincide with one another. One leads to the other in one way, shape, or form. So those are two great resources right there. And then also, only because that I help host and also I'm a Doug for Gov leader, is we have Doug for Gov, Dynamics user group for government. Oh my goodness. And it's not just Dynamics, it's low code as well. So
Yeah.
everybody is welcome.
Yeah.
But
And this is
I noticed you
this
put
is
an
peer to
extra
peer
QR
sharing.
code,
Yeah. Yep, that's the
peer
one in the
sharing.
middle. And this is hearing not just from Microsoft or from somebody from a partner side. This is your peer. This appears in the public sector. Folks from Redmond, from Virginia, from Texas, from all over the country, talking about how they've used Microsoft products to enhance their day-to-day operations and efficiency and overall better better computing systems. So you're hearing directly from them and how they've done it. So it's just a great way to sit. It's virtual, so you don't have to go anywhere. It's a lunchtime opportunity to grab a bite to eat and sit online with folks that are doing what you do, and just get to see what they're doing. And so it's real
Yep.
fun. Again, right now I think that there's over 1,000 people across the country in public sector signed up into this group, meeting about monthly. And so yeah, definitely check that one out for sure.
Did we
And I
make it?
think, yeah, I think we made it. That we made it to the end of our 10 and 10 and
Ooh,
20 ish minutes.
you
But hey,
held out. I love it. All right,
it was
cool.
great content, man. I appreciate it. That was a really good episode of 10 and 10 with Bobby and Ryan on Ask Ryan.
Cool beans. All right.
Well, thanks again. Tune in next time for
Next
another
time.
episode of Ask Ryan when we learn more about public sector and Microsoft.
Yep. Thanks for joining, and go back in the video. Look at some of those QR codes as well.
Yeah,
highly
definitely
encourage
pause.
you to visit those sites, bookmark some of those. But it's been a pleasure, always a pleasure as well, Bobby. And yes, we'll definitely see you next time.